on to Kyle, and did he sleep with this guest, and what's going on, Captain?
Well, I did a thorough investigation of what was going on, and I had a chat to all the crew, and it's kind of weird that someone would make up a story like that and then they go back on it, but I had no evidence that he did anything any different. I talked to all the crew, I spoke to him. Most important thing to me is if one crew member would have believed his story, he'd be off the boat, because making a story up like that is terrible. Especially if it gets back to the guest or her husband. I've been in that place where my partner hasn't done the right thing. I know how I felt. So it did trigger me, but it took a lot for me to be the judge and be impartial.
Yeah, were you guys just as confused as we were at home, trying to figure out what was going on in real time?
Well, yes, because who would make up a story like that, tell everybody, and go back? But when you watch the show, I don't know if part of it was trying to make Solenn jealous. If that was part of it, shooting off his mouth.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he was full of shit.
Yeah. Do you regret how we handled things with Kyle now that we get to watch it, or is it not fair to even say that? I think it's no.
I still stand by my decision. There was no evidence to show any different. So I really had to go with what was in front of me. What I thought of him, what he said he was doing. He disappointed me. Last season he played up. We had to deal with that. But Kyle is a very good worker. His choices on what he does after work, maybe not the choices I would make. But at the end of the day, we'll see some more episodes coming up, and more will be revealed.
Ooh, I'm excited. Okay, I don't know if you ever hear from any guests, but have you heard from Helen or Richard since the show started airing?
Yes, I have heard from Helen and Richard. We're actually doing a watch party at Hard Rock next Monday.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes, and Kelly has apologised to me.
Okay, very good to hear.
She thanked me for taking care of her. She told me she was in a bad headspace, and she thanked me.
What is it like watching the show back with all this stuff? Obviously, we're talking about certain storylines, but just in general, is it usually what you think how it happened, or are you usually surprised?
Well, throughout the season, I'm just seeing my crew in my front of my face, right? I don't know what's going on below deck. That's why we call it below deck, right? And some of the crew, like Jess, for example, she was off a game. I had to talk to her about a few things that she wasn't doing quite right. And now that I can see what's actually going on with the triangles, I knew something was up, but she never came to me. Same with Rainbow. I knew Rainbow was feeling something. I knew she was a bit down. And Rainbow's, one of her duties was to do my cabin. And whenever she'd come into the cabin, I'd always thank her so much. And, there's moments that I could see a tear coming and her saying, I need it so much.